21 black celebrities who lost everything because they were gay. Little Richard, Billy Preston, and Tevin Campbell are shocking names associated with secret tragedies behind the brilliant halo. You will be shocked to hear their stories about the heavy price they had to pay just for wanting to be true to themselves. We are our memory vault. Your companion in this video. This video is designed to be a comforting presence, perfectly suited for you to enjoy during your moments of rest at cozy family meals or while doing light housework. All information in this video is carefully researched and selected from multiple documentary sources by the Our Memory Vault team. However, knowledge is endless. If there are any details that you would like to contribute, please do not hesitate to leave a comment below to help us improve every day. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and turn on notifications to be the first to watch our latest videos. Now, let's get started right away with our first figures. Little Richard. When speaking of the solid foundations of last century's music, we cannot help but bow in respect to the legacy of Little Richard. He was an explosive phenomenon, an endless source of energy that reshaped all of popular music in the early 1950s. With a mesmerizing performance style, a fiery voice, and timeless hits, he was not just a singer, but a cultural icon. For the audience who lived through his golden age, his image on the stage remains a fading, cherished memory. However, behind that makeup and smile was a soul being fiercely torn apart. At a time when society was confined by strict prejudices, an artist revealing his differences was already a huge risk. When he bravely admitted his true sexual orientation, tragedy immediately struck. Both the music industry and the community he relied on decisively turned their backs. His bravery in breaking away from traditional molds turned him from a highly sought-after idol into a target of harsh criticism. A series of lucrative contracts were canceled, and the doors of glory slammed shut right before his eyes. Looking back at his journey, one cannot help but feel sorrow for a rare talent crushed by the invisible barriers of the era. He struggled to find peace, trying many times to deny his true self, just in the hope of being accepted by society. But the wound was too deep. Our team believes that the legacy of this great artist should have been fully cherished rather than being overshadowed by harsh judgments. If the fall of such a monument has made you feel heartbroken, the cruel tragedies of the upcoming names will surely leave us even more stunned. Do not leave the screen just yet, because the most shocking truths are still waiting to be uncovered. Billy Preston. Anyone who has ever been immersed in the classic melodies of the past decades knows the magical hands of Billy Preston. He was praised by the world as one of the greatest keyboardists, a legend of deep soul-stirring music. With his natural talent, he wove magical sounds, enriching the souls of generations of music lovers. Amidst the glamour of entertainment, his gentle smile and masterful playing were once symbols of artistic sublimation. However, his life took a dark turn when his deepest secret was exposed. In the early 90s, news about his sexual orientation was leaked, bringing along bitter troubles. With a society not yet ready to tolerate differences, this was a devastating blow to the reputation he had worked so hard to build. More tragically, he also faced health struggles that carried the severe stigma of that time. Major partners, those who once stood side by side with him on legendary stages, quietly withdrew. He was completely isolated, with no more sold-out tours or recording contracts. From the peak of fame, the talented artist had to retreat into the shadows, living the last days of his life in loneliness and despair. Having to sell his house just to make ends meet, he suffered an injustice far too great compared to what he had contributed. Looking back, we realize that society's rejection is sometimes more destructively terrifying than anything else. Today's audience needs to remember his wonderful music instead of those old judgments. Tevin Campbell. Returning to the brilliant years of the bustling music industry, Tevin Campbell once emerged as a prodigy, a young artist who captivated millions of hearts. With his sweet, soaring voice, he easily conquered prestigious charts. Those who went through this period surely still feel a nostalgic flutter when listening to his love songs. He was guided by industry giants carrying the expectation of becoming the brightest star in the artistic sky. Everything seemed to be paved with roses, waiting for the footsteps of this ambitious young artist. But then storms mercilessly struck when he got entangled in an incident related to his private life and sexual orientation. In the music environment of that time, which highly valued strict traditional standards, this was not simply a stumble. It became a sentence that closed the door on a career in its absolute prime. Renowned record labels immediately turned away. The media relentlessly scrutinized him, and the audience quickly voiced their rejection. His brilliant halo shattered in a flash after just one short, stormy night. From a bright future idol, he sadly stepped back from the dazzling lights. We find that the harshness of public opinion robbed us of an outstanding voice that should have shined so much brighter. Instead of being evaluated through his soul-stirring music, he was judged through the lens of narrow-minded prejudice. Even as time passes, the void left by his unfinished career remains a sad low note, a profound reminder of the terrifyingly destructive power of invisible prejudices. A brilliant halo can go out in a single night, but the brutal rejection that the upcoming figures had to endure is even more haunting. Please stay with us to deeply understand the pain of these legends whose careers were stolen by society. Paul Winfield. In the cinematic sky, Paul Winfield once stood tall as an incredibly respectable acting monument. With a calm demeanor, a majestic appearance, and sharp psychological depth, he portrayed strong characters that touched the audience's hearts. Prestigious nominations were clear proof of an outstanding talent carrying great pride. To the mature generation of viewers, every glance or line of his on the big screen exuded a quiet, highly captivating artistic authority that could hardly be replaced by anyone else. Sadly, that solid fortress began to crack when information about his personal life was dug up. Harsh rumors spread rapidly, along with the appearance of a severe health challenge that turned his life into a tragedy. The film industry, which was extremely strict at the time, did not accept a male lead stepping outside traditional molds. Quality scripts suddenly became scarce. Producers avoided him, and he was gradually pushed out of projects worthy of his brilliant capabilities. In the final years of his life, the once silver screen legend struggled with a life of deprivation surrounded by loneliness. He quietly passed away, taking with him unspoken sorrows. We cannot help but feel melancholy witnessing a devoted artist suffer such a bitter end. Through all the ups and downs, his story leaves a costly lesson about human compassion, where the brightest halo can be extinguished simply because of unreasonable boundaries drawn by society. Howard Rollins. When mentioning the vitality of the television industry in past decades, one cannot overlook the wonderful appeal of Howard Rollins. He was a rare, talented actor who breathed life into roles requiring bravery and steadfastness. His name was associated with classic works, becoming a familiar friend in the living rooms of countless families. His halo brought inspiration about the image of a resilient man overcoming adversity. Older audiences surely cannot forget his genuine and profoundly expressive eyes every time he appeared on the small screen. However, behind the brilliant glory was a deep pit of sadness when the secret about his true self was uncovered. Starting from a scandal at a personal entertainment venue, his life was immediately pushed into the eye of a storm. The media did not hesitate to expose him, shattering the exemplary image he had painstakingly built. The situation became even more tragic when physical and mental burdens struck. The doors of his career slammed shut one after another. Prestigious contracts quickly evaporated, leaving him stranded amidst the heartless abandonment of the contemporary filmmaking world. From the position of a highly sought-after star, he slid down into a dead end, losing himself. His passing in isolation and hardship remains an open wound in the history of art. From our perspective, this downfall is heartbreaking proof of how harsh public opinion can be toward differences. His outstanding talent should have been cherished with understanding rather than being subjected to brutal, unforgiving judgment. Sylvester. When speaking of the brightly lit party nights of the 70s and 80s, rhythm-loving audiences certainly cannot forget the soaring voice and completely unique style of Sylvester. He was hailed as one of the brightest icons of dance music at the time, someone who brought an explosive energy, breaking all the boring norms of contemporary art. With an outstanding falsetto and immense confidence, he lit up countless big and small stages, making millions unable to sit still but step out onto the dance floor. To the mature generation of audiences, his music was not simply entertainment, but an anthem of freedom, of a fierce joy for life, and a desire to break away from the narrow limits of daily life. However, when the storm of a defining epidemic began sweeping through society, and the secret of his personal lifestyle was exposed, everything changed at a dizzying and cruel pace. The entertainment industry, already very pragmatic, became even more conservative and full of precaution. Major radio stations, places that used to play his hits day and night, suddenly crossed his name off their broadcast lists all at once. Renowned record labels rushed to cut all ties, fearing that the image of an artist daring to live true to his identity would tarnish their commercial reputation. From an international star sought after by tens of thousands, he was pushed to the edge of the abyss, left to struggle performing in small, lonely venues where the lights seemed tinged with sorrow and isolation. The Our Memory Vault team feels deeply heartbroken to witness the tearful ending of a legend who once brought so many smiles to humanity. To pay for massive medical bills in the context of having no income, he had to sell all of his life savings and took his last breath in poverty, lacking the love of family. Our view is that an artist who fully devoted his talent to beautifying life deserves to receive tolerance and care in times of need, rather than being coldly punished by society just because they chose to stay true to their heart. Jermaine Stewart. In the colorful music's picture of the 80s, Jermaine Stewart appeared as a bright stroke full of life and optimism. He was a pop star with an incredibly captivating performance style, bringing audiences joyous melodies and positive messages about life. Millions of music lovers at the time danced to his hit songs, considering them a wonderful mental remedy to dispel exhaustion. With a radiant smile always on his lips, he successfully built an image of a carefree, pure and friendly artist, easily making his way into the hearts of the public across various ages, especially those always yearning to find joy through music. But that sparkling velvet curtain quickly collapsed when information about his health condition and sexual orientation leaked out. In the social context of the 90s, still shrouded in deep confusion and stigma against new health challenges, the public verdict against him was exceedingly harsh. Music television channels, which had once been a solid launchpad for his name, immediately turned their backs and refused to broadcast his music videos. Major record labels, fearing negative reactions from the conservative crowd, unilaterally terminated valuable contracts. The boycott took place on a massive and extremely thorough scale, completely stripping him of the chance to stand on professional stages to continue nurturing his artistic passion. Our channel's perspective is that the fall of this iconic musical talent is heartbreaking proof of the ungratefulness of fame. He was pushed to a dead end, forced to sell his homes, and barely survive in the shadows of oblivion. Even when he closed his eyes and passed away, he did not receive forgiveness or warm embraces from his own flesh and blood family members. It is time for us to look back at the past, to understand that no prejudice has the right to strip away the dignity and tremendous contributions of a person to the shared culture of humanity. Jean Anthony Ray. For those of you who were once mesmerized by the passionately fiery television shows of the 80s, the image of Jean Anthony Ray is certainly an indelible piece of the puzzle. That young man lit up the small screen with his masterful, wild dance steps and an abundant artistic energy that seemed to never run dry. With his authentic acting talent, he became the embodiment of youth's aspirations, strongly inspiring countless teenagers to persistently pursue their artistic dreams. He stood at the peak of attention, enjoying resounding applause and passionate admiration from art lovers taking solid steps on a path of fame that seemed to be paved with roses ahead. However, the storm rolled in and submerged everything when his private world was exploited and exposed to the public by the media. The entertainment world at that time had invisible yet incredibly solid barriers, especially concerning the image of men on screen. when information about his true self spread, the doors of opportunity that were once wide open suddenly slammed shut. Filmmakers who once praised his outstanding talent began to keep their distance, fearing that the film's image would be affected by the opposing currents of societal opinion. From a name that guaranteed the appeal of television works, he suddenly became a restricted figure with no place left in an industry that demanded perfection according to extremely stereotypical standards. We believe that the story of this talented artist is a tragic low note in the symphony of the entertainment industry. Unable to withstand the pressure of brutal elimination, he gradually lost his direction, sliding into the dark corners of life and facing countless surrounding difficulties. His passing in poverty, devoid of society's care, is a tremendous loss for those who truly love beauty. The legacy of those wonderful dance steps should have been brilliantly passed down rather than buried under the narrow-minded prejudices of an era unwilling to understand. Emile Griffith. Stepping out of the artistic spotlight, let us look back at the life of a renowned sports monument boxer, Emile Griffith. In the 60s, he was the symbol of absolute strength, dominating the ring with powerful punches, an intelligent fighting style, and a fierce, uncompromising fighting spirit. To veteran sports fans, he was a true hero, someone who brought home glory and soaring emotions through every fiery match. The boxing world was considered a place that honored masculine beauty, toughness, and courage, and he was the one standing at the very peak of those strict standards, receiving absolute respect from both professionals and global audiences. But behind the mighty gloves and the sparkling championship belt, he carried a secret that the highly prejudiced sports society of the time would never accept. When harsh rumors about his sexual orientation began to spread, the atmosphere around him became suffocating and hostile. The true tragedy exploded when he had to endure public humiliation from his own opponent, leading to severe consequences that haunted the rest of his life. Instead of being protected and honored as a great champion, he was shunned by the sports community. Prestigious sponsorship contracts withdrew one after another, leaving him alone to weather the storm of public opinion and intense discrimination. The Our Memory Vault team sadly acknowledges that his greatest tragedy lay not in the physical challenges in the ring, but in the cruelty of human hearts. In his twilight years, he had to live in humiliation, even enduring severe harm from those harboring deep-seated hatred. A legend who once brought honor to sports had to end his life in the shadows of oblivion and unhealable psychological trauma. Sports history owes him a belated apology because his talent and the sweat he shed deserve to be recognized above any personal barriers. Glenn Burke. Continuing our trip down memory lane, let us turn back to the sad historical pages of baseball with the story of Glenn Burke. In the late 70s, he emerged as a rare phenomenon, a talented player with an explosive playing style, incredible agility, and an excellent team spirit. Not only that, he was also recognized as the creator of an iconic, celebratory gesture that strongly inspired sportsmanship worldwide. With his abundant energy and radiant smile, he was once the great hope of his club, expected by fans to forge a brilliant golden era and engrave his name into the temple of the most outstanding sports legends. However, that brilliant career was mercilessly suffocated when he bravely decided to step into the light, becoming one of the pioneers to openly live true to his identity in professional sports. That courageous act ran into the extremely thick wall of prejudice of a highly conservative industry. Teammates who once stood shoulder to shoulder now began to avoid him. The coaching staff used prejudiced language to suppress him, and the upper management quickly found ways to push him out of the playing roster. From an irreplaceable key factor, he was turned into a problem that needed to be eliminated completely, losing the opportunity to live with the greatest passion of his life. From the profound perspective of our channel, baseball's rejection of him is one of the darkest chapters in sports history. Stripped of his career, he fell into a vortex of poverty, lost his way, and finally collapsed before the harsh challenges of fate. Public opinion was far too heartless when judging a person's value through the lens of stigma, ignoring the sweat and extraordinary efforts he dedicated to the field. We hope that this sad story will forever remain a stern reminder of the importance of tolerance, so that no other talent will ever have to wither away in such unjust and heartbreaking circumstances. Willi Smith. In the glamorous fashion world of the 80s, designer Willi Smith single-handedly lit a brilliantly bright torch. He was honored as a pioneering designer who brought the soul of bustling streets to the most luxurious runways. Middle-aged audiences surely have a deep impression of his clothing style that championed freedom-breaking, rigid rules. Every stitch conveyed a profound message about equality. With his natural talent, he successfully built a solid brand, becoming the pride of the fashionistas at the time, bringing beauty closer to the modern fashion-loving public. But then, right at the peak of his prestigious glory, everything suddenly shattered completely when the secret about his personal life spread. Society at that time carried heavy, strict barriers, unwilling to embrace someone who dared to live true to their identity. Massive investors immediately withdrew, and reputable commercial partners simultaneously turned their backs, refusing to cooperate. The elite of the fashion world also quickly built an incredibly cold wall of alienation. He was pushed out of the empire he built with his own hands, falling into a hopeless struggle, completely losing the launchpad to continue nurturing his burning passion for art. Our team is deeply saddened to witness the unjust fading of a great creative mind. It is bitter to realize that despite dedicating himself entirely to art, he was still judged by unfair prejudice. His life, full of regrets, is a poignant lesson about cherishing the core values of human beings. The legacy he left behind deserves to be honored forever, instead of being obscured by the ungrateful rejection of a generation unwilling to open their hearts to understand sacred differences. Billy Strayhorn. To souls who love the melodious sounds of jazz, the composing genius Billy Strayhorn was always a truly magical piece of the puzzle. He was the man behind a series of classic melodies that touched the hearts of millions of mature music listeners. His superb orchestration ability breathed an incredibly fresh breath of life into famous bands of that era. Middle-aged audiences surely still remember the peaceful feeling when enjoying the delicate pieces he penned. With a quiet yet deeply powerful artistic nature, he contributed to shaping the golden age of music, leaving an invaluable treasure trove of melodies for countless generations to come. Sadly, his artistic journey was surrounded by immense darkness when he refused to hide his true self. In a music environment that favored traditional toughness, his publicizing of his personal lifestyle became a thorn in the side of many producers. Instead of stepping into the light as an independent artist, he was forced to hide behind the massive shadows of his collaborators. Major investors gradually stayed away, failing to give him the opportunity to develop a personal career worthy of his stature. His outstanding talent was brutally suppressed, leaving the gifted artist to taste a quiet sorrow that he could not express to anyone. The view of our memory vault is that the injustice he had to endure is clear proof of the cruelty of imposed standards. A great talent should have been honored under the brightest lights rather than forced to live a worn-out existence in melancholic silence. His unfinished life reminds us of the importance of respecting diversity. Hopefully, the beautiful melodies he left behind will forever echo as a powerful affirmation of the immortal vitality of true art. Carl Bean. Going back in time to the glorious years of vibrant music, the name of male singer Carl Bean emerges as a very special mark. Audiences in their middle age certainly cannot forget the strong, passionate voice of this talented artist. He delivered powerful love songs, spreading positive energy to millions of music listeners everywhere. His wholehearted dedication on stage helped him quickly score points in the hearts of the public, opening up a radiant and highly promising future. With his ability to fiercely inspire, he was once considered a shining icon, ready to reach the glorious peaks of fame in the entertainment industry. However, the career door that had just opened quickly slammed shut when he resolutely defended his true identity. Faced with pressure from record labels demanding that he hide his sexual orientation to maintain his commercial image, he bravely said no. Immediately, the power machine of the entertainment industry responded with cruel coldness. A series of promotional campaigns were canceled, and prestigious recording contracts were completely frozen. The conservative society of the time ruthlessly pushed a highly potential artist out of the artistic cycle, stripping him of the chance to shine on even grander stages. We truly admire the resilient courage of this artist, but are also deeply heartbroken at the heavy price he had to pay. It is sorrowful that a wonderful voice was extinguished simply for refusing to live a fake life. His tragedy is a profound wake-up call about the invisible oppression in the art world. His spiritual legacy and bravery still live on forever, reminding subsequent generations of the sacred value of preserving one's dignity despite all the harsh barriers surrounding them. Willie Ninja. Anyone who has ever been captivated by the rhythm of contemporary physical art must respectfully bow to the outstanding talent of dancer Willie Ninja. He was honored as a great master, the one who elevated street dance steps into an incredibly refined art form. Mature audiences surely still have a deep impression of the sharp, graceful, and highly expressive movements he performed. His explosive energy not only set stages on fire, but also inspired a host of major stars around the world. Through his selfless dedication, he created a massive cultural legacy, revered as a living legend of a highly mesmerizing visual art. Even so, that rose-paved path quickly turned into a deep abyss when the hidden corners of his private life and his health condition were exposed. In a social context still overflowing with hesitation and judgment, he became the center of harsh, stigmatizing gazes. Major fashion brands rushed to cut all collaborative ties. Prestigious performance stages also closed their doors, refusing the appearance of someone who dared to go against the majority. Step by step, society heartlessly pushed an outstanding talent into a life of destitution, forcing him to struggle against countless surrounding hardships in the final years of his life. The Our Memory Vault team assesses that the rejection he endured is an indelible pain in the history of performing arts. Nothing can compensate for the fact that a talented artist had to leave this world in loneliness, lacking the care he deserved. His life is a mirror reflecting the ungratefulness of fame when people lack empathy. His magical dance steps remain an invaluable asset, forever proving that true art will always rise above all harsh prejudices. Gladys Bentley. Looking further back to the early decades of the last century, the performing arts cannot fail to mention the proud name of Gladys Bentley. She was a brilliant stage phenomenon, bringing performances full of life and an incredibly unique demeanor. Audiences who love nostalgia will certainly cherish her warm, powerful voice and her charming way of interacting. She bravely put on outfits that transcended all contemporary boundaries, shining magnificently at the most luxurious entertainment venues. With her natural talent, she became the center of all attention, building a solid position for herself in the hearts of the art lovers of that era. But that brilliant glory did not last long, as society began to tighten its extremely strict traditional moral standards. The difference in her lifestyle and personal style suddenly became an excuse for public opinion to slander her fiercely. Legal troubles related to her true self dealt a devastating blow to her blooming career. Major theaters simultaneously canceled performance contracts, rejecting her appearance on stage. From a highly sought-after star, she was pushed into a corner, having to struggle to maintain her passion in cramped spaces, losing all the brilliant glory of the old days. Through the perspective of our channel, the tragedy of this pioneering artist leaves an endless remorse about an overly strict era. Forcing a free soul to put on a fake coat to survive is a tremendous regret for the arts. We feel sorrowful seeing that brilliant talent having to endure an undeserved coldness. Despite going through many ups and downs, her courageous spirit of overcoming prejudice will always remain a warm fire, strongly inspiring those who yearn to live truthfully with their own hearts. Stormy DeLarverie. In the nostalgic cultural and artistic space of the mid-decades of the last century, the image of Stormy DeLarverie emerged as a highly unconventional and impressive painting. Audiences who love glamorous vaudeville nights surely cannot forget her confident demeanor, proud smile, and powerful voice. As a pioneering performing artist, she boldly crossed all limits of traditional attire to shine in the most unique way. Her appearance on the prestigious stages of that time was not just pure entertainment, but also an incredibly unique artistic manifesto, attracting admiration from countless classes of art-loving audiences. She once stood on the launchpad of glory, enjoying the resounding applause and brilliant halo that any artist would dream of touching even once. However, that sparkling velvet curtain quickly closed when society began to scrutinize and expose truths about her personal life. In an era where being different was considered taboo, her choice to live true to her identity became an excuse for public opinion to deliver harsh judgments. Art managers, fearing pressure from the conservative crowd, collectively turned their backs and canceled all lucrative performance contracts. The theater doors that once opened wide to welcome her now slammed shut before her eyes, pushing a shining star into a situation of continuous unemployment. From an artist warmly sought after by the public, she sadly had to retreat into the shadows, taking on hard, strenuous jobs to make ends meet, day by day, amidst the heartless coldness of society. The Our Memory Vault team feels incredibly choked up, looking back at her artistic journey full of ups, downs, and injustices. We believe that depriving an outstanding talent of the stage just because of personal prejudice is a massive loss for popular entertainment culture. It is truly unfair that a person carrying a burning artistic passion had to bury her youth in cruel oblivion. Yet her courageous spirit and pioneering legacy will always remain a bright torch, strongly inspiring countless generations to come to walk firmly on the path of finding their true values. Keith Barrow, returning to the glorious years of the vibrant music era, the image of male singer Keith Barrow appeared as an incredibly bright and captivating focal point. Possessing a smooth, highly technical tenor voice, along with a performance style full of energy, he quickly conquered tens of thousands of music lovers' hearts. For the audience class that experienced this golden era, his music was not simply lively melodies for entertainment, but a wonderful mental remedy that helped dispel all the worries of daily life. With recordings continuously climbing up the prestigious charts, his future seemed to be paved with a bright red carpet, promising to elevate the talented artist's name to the position of a global star sought after by millions. But that beautiful artistic dream quickly shattered into pieces when the hidden corners of his private life were exploited and exposed by the media. In the context of a music industry that was heavily conservative and extremely wary of personal differences, at the time the sentence handed down to him was truly too cruel. Giant record labels immediately cut all ties, refusing to produce or promote his passionate musical projects. Invitations to perform on big stages gradually dwindled and then disappeared completely, pushing him into a situation of being totally isolated from the glamorous entertainment world. Not stopping there, the siege of illness and a state of financial destitution made the final years of the artist's life more tragic and sorrowful than ever. From the view of the Our Memory Vault channel, the fall of such an outstanding musical talent is a profound wake-up call about the consequences of invisible prejudices. We cannot help but feel heartbroken witnessing a voice that once brought so much joy to life, having to quietly leave this world in oblivion and alienation. The public and professionals should have opened their arms to protect and cherish his artistic contributions, rather than turning their backs just because of strict evaluation standards lacking human compassion. The wonderful musical legacy he left behind will surely live on forever, reminding us of an era when talent was sometimes defeated by the very apathy of society. Marlon Riggs. In the field of documentary filmmaking, heavily imbued with education and cultural reflection, director Marlon Riggs was always honored as a great intellectual, a lighthouse illuminating truths that had never been told. He devoted his entire strength and intellect to creating incredibly profound films, exposing the hidden corners of society through a humane and highly refined lens. Viewers who love works that demand deep thinking would certainly have to bow to his incredibly sharp artistic vision and extraordinary courage. The films he shaped were not merely moving images, but invaluable historical lessons, contributing to raising community awareness. His brilliant halo was built from the very respect of professionals and academics worldwide. However, Storms surrounded the life of this genuine artist when he bravely decided to use his own work to speak his heart and reveal his true self. Ironically, that sincerity ran into a fierce wall of opposition from the very organizations and communities he had spent his life protecting. Sponsors, who were naturally very generous, suddenly withdrew all funding, pushing his cinematic projects into a complete deadlock. Prestigious television networks also feared public opinion and refused to broadcast the films that contained so much of his heart and soul. From a praised director, he was pushed into a state of loneliness, lacking on all fronts without enough financial means to continue pursuing the flame of artistic passion burning fiercely in his heart. The Our Memory Vault team assesses that having such a great mind suppressed just because of disagreements in lifestyle perspectives is an incredibly bitter tragedy. It is heartbreaking that a person carrying the desire to contribute to society had to endure rejection from the very people to whom he wanted to spread love. His life, full of ups and downs, leaves a hard-to-fill void in the world of documentary cinema. Despite going through countless injustices, his invaluable artistic works and indomitable spirit will always remain a bright torch illuminating the way for younger generations of directors to follow in the search for truth and justice. Essex Hemphill. Stepping into the deep space of literature and poetry, the name of poet Essex Hemphill always shone brilliantly like a star full of the power of words. With his gifted pen and sensitive soul, he painted incredibly vivid linguistic pictures, touching the deepest layers of emotion in the reader's heart. Middle-aged audiences who love the tranquility of pages of a book will certainly find a tremendous resonance in his works, where human sorrows are expressed in a highly authentic and deeply contemplative manner. His appearance on the literary scene was once considered a fresh breath of life, bringing immense hope to a generation of intellectuals yearning to use the power of the pen to build noble and humane cultural values. Yet that promising literary path was quickly buried under the cold ice of extremely strict social prejudices. When he decided to use his own poems to affirm his identity and personal lifestyle, the conservative publishing world immediately set up invisible but incredibly cruel barriers. A series of major printing houses simultaneously refused to release his works, using the excuse that the content was not suitable for the general moral standards of the time. He was crossed off the lists of prestigious literary seminars, completely losing the opportunity to interact and spread his works to the wider public. Pushed into a state of destitution and deadlock, the dreaming artist had to struggle against adversity in an incredibly painful silence. The perspective of the Our Memory Vault channel shows that the literary world's shun of an outstanding talent is proof of the narrow-mindedness of an entire era. It is bitter that beautifully written passages, which should have been cherished and nurtured, were tossed aside just because their creator dared to live truthfully with his heart. The loneliness he had to endure in his final years is a stern indictment of the ungratefulness of human hearts. Even so, his tear-soaked lines of poetry and his desire for freedom will last forever, with time becoming a precious cultural legacy that nothing can destroy. Jason Holliday. Going back in time to the performing arts space of the 60s, Jason Holliday emerged as an incredibly vivid, authentic, and highly pioneering portrait. Through the lens of classic documentary footage, he revealed a deeply free artistic soul with an optimistic smile and a charming storytelling style that captivated people's hearts. To the audience who appreciates the core values of original art, his rustic performance style, yet filled with a myriad of emotions, surely left an incredibly deep impression. His biggest burning desire was to dedicate himself entirely under the stage lights, to be recognized by the public for his true abilities, rather than through any lens of pity or judgment. Regrettably, that pure dream was brutally crushed by the cruel gears of the entertainment industry at the time. Although his image and life story were thoroughly exploited to bring fame to filmmakers, he himself was mercilessly rejected by mainstream society. Theater owners and producers, carrying heavy prejudice thoughts, blatantly slammed shut all doors of opportunity, barring him from stepping onto professional performance stages. Instead of being properly rewarded for his artistic contributions, he was treated as a marginalized figure, sliding down into poverty and surrounding despair. The darkness of oblivion gradually swallowed a natural talent, pushing him into a tragic situation with no way out. The Our Memory Vault channel is deeply saddened to recognize that the life of this talented artist is a mournful testament to the cruel exploitation in the art world. Borrowing a person's private life story for profit and then heartlessly tossing them aside is an action that goes against all noble humane values. He deserved tolerance and a solid artistic launchpad to fly even higher and further. Though he passed away in silence, his courage in daring to expose his entire true self before the camera remains forever a beautiful symbol evoking compassion and deep respect from the bottom of the hearts of those who love true art. Ron Simmons. Looking back at the rich tapestry of cultural, artistic, and social work activities, the name Ron Simmons always radiated a highly warm and deeply humane light. He was once widely known as a talented manager, the person behind the success of countless artists, and a powerful representative voice for meaningful community movements. For those who once participated in or followed programs with profound spreading power, the image of an energetic, enthusiastic man with a constant smile on his lips surely cannot fade. With excellent connecting abilities and a sharp strategic vision, he built a solid foundation respected by many and considered the leading flag in efforts to bring equality to everyone. But that solid fortress he painstakingly built suddenly collapsed to pieces when he bravely spoke up to defend his true self before the public. That sincere declaration, instead of receiving sympathy, ran into a fierce wave of opposition from a segment of society carrying heavy conservative thoughts. Key strategic partners immediately cut off all collaborative relationships. Major events simultaneously crossed his name off the organizers' lists, and voices that once supported him now turned to criticize him coldly. From the center of attention, he was completely isolated, stripped of all income sources and opportunities to continue dedicating himself to the noble ideals he always pursued. The Our Memory Vault team feels incredibly choked up looking back at the tearful journey of such a dedicated and visionary leader. The fact that a person who spent his life fighting for the rights of others was rejected by society itself is a reality that is far too bitter. Spending the last years of his life in oblivion can never erase the immense values he created. We owe him a deeper recognition because that courage and tireless spirit of dedication will forever remain an indispensable part of the development process of a civilized society. Closing these deeply emotional files, we not only see the sad hidden corners of stars that faded too soon, but also realize a profound lesson about empathy and tolerance in life. We hope that each of us will always cherish family bonds and our loved ones around us, because human compassion is always the most precious thing. We wish you peaceful and joyful moments of rest with your family. If you find this video meaningful, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Like and turn on the notification bell to continue accompanying our Memory Vault in the upcoming True Historical Stories. Goodbye, and see you again.